Welcome to the Art of Black Miami podcast, sponsored by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Our stories introduce emerging and experienced artists who make Miami an exciting place to live and visit. I'm Rosie Gordon-Wallace, curator and arts advocate. Miami is home since the 1970s. My passion is cultivating the vision and talent of contemporary artists from the Caribbean diaspora, artists of color, and immigrant artists. Many cultures and languages come together to shape the character of Miami. Artist Robert McKnight is one of the city's creative giants. He was born in North Carolina and moved to South Miami with his family in 1953. Excelling at art from a young age, Robert attended Killian High School, where there happened to be a number of art instructors from the University of Miami. One of his teachers encouraged him to apply for a scholarship to study painting at Syracuse University. Through Syracuse, he had the chance to study sculpture at Sir John Cass School of Art in London. In 1971, while Robert was in England, his brother Donald McKnight and other students at the University of Miami launched the Black Arts Workshop to create new opportunities for Miami's Black art community.
Roland Woods had petitioned the school to allow them to have exhibitions in the gallery. They weren't given the right to do that, so they really went on strike. And out of that strike, they formed the Miami Black Arts Workshop.
I just wanted to underscore that in the 70s, this organization was started. When did you start with them and how it led to your artwork?
The first summer I came back, Donald took me to the Grove and introduced me to the Black Arts Workshop. I was one of the regulars there, not only because Donald was involved in it, but I met Roland Woods, and the camaraderie there was just right. I just wanted to say one thing, that Donald was the one that took me, his younger brother, and did the things that would help me become an artist. And I owe it to him to be the best I could be.
When you go to the Miami Zoo now, your work is prominently placed. Share with me, please, the genesis of that work. How did it start, and a little bit about your process?
I got the word that they were starting to do some work at the zoo through the Black Arts Workshop. The gentleman came in and said they were hiring artists to work at the Metro Zoo. I got on the phone the very next day, made an appointment to go down and fill out an application, got an interview, drove up to a beach house on Biscayne, and said, I don't know what this is all involved with, but I have to work here. It turned out to be one of the greatest things that happened to me, because I learned how to do architectural design, architectural layout, landscape layout, and to do research on different animals and their characteristics. We went from doing scale models of the paddocks and animal exhibits and the rock facades. After that was all done, we went down south to start construction. The difference between doing scale models and making it life-size, we were sitting there trying to figure out, how do we do this? We literally just started enlarging the models, because we would do like scale drawings of every section. We came up with a life-size grid in the parking lot. We drilled holes in it every foot and did the patterns on the board in the parking lot and started scaling them up. It was literally like taking sculpture class and making it real. From there, we started building the frames, taking the frames out and placing them, because now you had the paddocks all dug and laid out.
Who are the we? Who were you working with? Other young artists like
Yes,
yourselves?
they hired 25 artists.
Were you the only black artist?
No, Donna was there, and one other black female. She's now a teacher at FAMU. So actually there were three.
And I ask because I'm fascinated by this history. Can you name some of the public art projects that you have been in? Point us to some of them.
First one, North County Health Center in Opelika. From there, I got the commission with Pinnacle Housing. When they decided to build the building on 79th Street, they actually asked, I think it was 6 or 7 artists to do a rendering of an idea. The way I looked at Pinnacle Building was I had to bring back some of my training from the zoo. To do good, well thought out work, the artist needs to be able to have other people do some of the work. If you're standing 65 feet in the air, you're not thinking about artwork then. You're thinking about safety. So in order to do that, my concept was to do something that other people would install and I can control it. I started getting into computers, and one of the programs I came up with was computerized tile program. I can make a drawing, copy it, feed it into this computer, and it will pick out 3/8 inch tile by color and put it in order so that somebody else can take those sheets and put them on the wall.
So, Robert, what are some of the themes on the Pinnacle Park apartment complex on 79th Street?
One of the things I remembered about 79th Street back in the high school days, it was an entertainment district. I'd gotten into listening to the blues, and Muddy Waters really caught my attention. And then I started reading some of his history. Not only he was a musician, but he was a businessman. I thought that needed to be brought out in some kind of way. The story is not only the blues people that made a living from him or were introduced by him, but rock music, rock and roll, the Rolling Stones, the people that were influenced by him. I did a rendering of Muddy Waters and his bass guitarist, and I created another image along the lines of Muddy Waters on the opposite side. And we did the tall image on the I-95 side. That was from the theme of black musicians.
Another landmark that you've created, Brightline Station in Overtown, which is an absolute beauty.
I started thinking about the Florida train line going from North Florida to the Keys, and they said, no, we want to talk about Overtown. That was like, wow, okay, I can do that. And from there, it went from the history of Overtown to the history of musicians that played in Overtown, what they had to do to come back across the water and spend time in Overtown. And there was so much that I had to work with. It's hard for me to explain everything because it took a year before they started construction. So I was doing research all that time.
We know that I-95 was built through the neighborhood and destroyed black middle class families that lived here and were thriving on all of this richness that happened in the neighborhood. When you are telling the story with your murals, how does this affect what you ultimately produce?
There's a section that is over the south wall, the stairwell, that showed the map and the expressway, where the expressway went through Overtown. There's a whole lot of stuff missing here.
These stories have to be told. But you, in your lifetime, have done such amazing work to document this. What you have done through your murals is that you have laid history down in your mosaic renderings and completion of your work. You have a new project now about to be unveiled in Richmond Heights.
Richmond Heights is on the south end of the county between Kendall and Perrine. It started out as a black neighborhood that was built by Captain Frank C. Martin, who was captain at the Naval Air Center.
Oh, where is it located?
148 in Bethune Drive on Lincoln Boulevard, Lasinia Bullitt Plaza. I've done 3 murals. The one I call the Crown for Lasinia on the top of the building. Then interior mural, which I call the Gift. And then the Founder's Wall, where there's talk about Captain Frank C. Martin. Frank C. Martin Elementary School is named after him. And then this portrait of Lasinia Bullitt.
Who did a lot for that neighborhood, the entire South Dade neighborhood when she was a senator? What's the color scheme that you're using?
I wanted to play on the gold in the skin. Actually, they kept giving me a darker tone, and I kept fighting for golden skin. The color on the building is a golden color, and I wanted to play on the crown because there's a rotunda on the top, and I started playing with gold and green.
Robert, what do you consider your mission as an artist in Miami over your decades of work and markings here? What's your mission?
To create dynamic, impressive work. I want to make work that will last the test of time. Not only beautiful, but last forever if necessary. In thought and also in the material, and motivate other artists.
This was an Art of Black Miami podcast sponsored by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. I am Rosie Gordon-Wallace. Today we introduce you to artist Robert McKnight. From north to south and east to west across the city, his landmark public art projects have illuminated half a century of Miami's Black history. We recorded this conversation inside the Ward Rooming House, an art space in the historic neighborhood of Overtown, a mecca for Black art and culture. Art of Black Miami highlights the year-round art and culture scene in Miami's heritage neighborhoods and across communities in Greater Miami and the beaches. If you are enjoying our stories, visit artofblackmiami.com to learn more. Engage us on social media, post and share using the hashtag ArtofBlackMiami. The Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau is an accredited, independent, not-for-profit sales and marketing organization. The GMCVB's mission is to attract visitors to Greater Miami and the beaches for leisure, business, and conventions. For up-to-date art events, promotions, and more information, visit artofblackmiami.com.